a lot better. I usually like crowds to get, a little rowdy.
Yes.
Because I'm rowdy. I'm glad to be here this morning. I was looking forward for a while to come here in Vermont to, speak with you. And I was bombarded last week with national newspapers and, asking me, questions about the president signing the minimum wage and people with disabilities being left out. Of course, I had a lot to say about that. One of the things that I felt was important was people were left out. I mean, a lot of times people forget about us, and work is important to us as well as to everyone. I can't wait to get up in the morning at 4:45 when my clock goes off, or I wake up before the clock, so that I can get to work and work with people around the state, and of course, talk with people around the country, because I got an opportunity in the job that I have, and in June it'll be my 17th year. So, I'm still enjoying it as much as I did when I first, got the job. But for me, it's important to have everyone have an opportunity. I don't believe in the thought that, oh, well, people can't work or people can't do that. It's impossible. There's nothing impossible. This whole world is here, and they had to get here somehow, so that's not impossible. So giving people an opportunity is the most important thing. Employment, everyone loves money. I mean, if they say they don't, they're not telling the truth. And it's all about opportunity. And I talk about your state a lot. The reporter from the Chicago Tribune was saying, well, people shouldn't be in workshops. I said, I agree. I was there 6 years. I got out. I got an opportunity with my state. I worked for them. And now, as it says in my bio, I'm co-founder of my own non-for-profit. And we work in our community in Albany, and that means a lot to me. And hopefully, in the near future, we'll be able to hire people in the right way. And we're going to pay above minimum wage, you can believe that.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to let you know is you have a great opportunity today to meet with your legislators, to let them know what effect their decisions have on your lives. And that is important because you can't do some of the things that you need to do if you don't have the laws behind you, if you don't have that opportunity. Let them know. And as I found out here in Vermont, you have an opportunity that lots of states and lots of people don't have. You can go out and just go to your legislators and meet them and talk with them. You can see them in the hall. You can have meetings all over the place. I think that is so cool. I went to my legislative day last week, and we had to make appointments, but most of the times we didn't meet with the legislators themselves. We met with their staff people, which their jobs are important too. But I just want to say to you, here in Vermont, get out and make yourself heard. Let the people see you, and make sure that people in their community know who you are. Because if they don't know you, they always think, that you're not around. And I will leave you with the words of our motto that we live by as self-advocates. Nothing about us without us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Chester. And please join us this evening. Chester's going to be our keynote speaker during our evening program, and you'll see that in the schedule. If you haven't registered for the day today, at around 1 o'clock today in room 10, we'll have some pizza, so please feel free to join us down there. And also sign in and get an agenda so you can join us for the rest of the day. I'd like to turn my attention now to Bryan Dague and introduce him. He has been employed at the Center on Disability and Community Inclusion at the University of Vermont since 1992, providing training and technical assistance in the areas of supported employment and transition. Bryan is a program coordinator of Think College Vermont, UVM, at CDCI, and also working on the Natural Support Grant to increase the inclusion of people with disabilities in the workforce. Over his career, Bryan research has contributed to understanding of how real-world employment can be more than a dream for folks with disabilities. Among his conversations has been a biennial conference at CDCI called Conversion Institute, dedicated to assisting other states in converting from the sheltered workshop model to supported employment model. Bryan's influence extends well beyond Vermont borders. Please welcome Bryan Dague.
Sarah and Chester. It's a pleasure to be here. I've worked with Chester a couple times, over the past on these issues of sheltered employment for people with disabilities, and I think Chester's right. It's like people are invisible. It's not really known like how many people are actually in segregated sheltered workshops around the country. The state of Vermont's been pretty progressive and fortunate to have closed down the sheltered workshops and segregated employment. But nationally, about 75% of people with intellectual disabilities and developmental disabilities are still in segregated sheltered workshops. And the average pay of a sheltered workshop is about $2.50 an hour, but it goes down to about as low as 6 cents an hour, depending on how productive somebody is. So it's not really a good job match, and that's what we're always looking for in employment, is like, what's a good job match for somebody? And a talented man like Chester Finn, to think that he spent 6 years in a sheltered workshop, probably putting things together and getting paid just by what he produced, is just a really bad job match. It doesn't take advantage of his skills and abilities and talents. So thankfully he's not in that sheltered workshop anymore, and he's out advocating on behalf of people with disabilities. And you look at nationally, the number one topic in this country right now is employment. Yet, when you look at people with disabilities have a significant unemployment rate, it doesn't seem like a big deal for people. It seems almost as if it's a luxury, and it's not. Work is really important to everybody, whether you have a disability or not. Like Chester said, you look forward to getting up in the morning, going to work, being productive, but then getting paid, what you're worth, and getting paid something that's not, 6 cents an hour or something like that. So what we've been working for is really trying to raise awareness about the issue of employment of people with disabilities and the concept of sheltered workshops. And recently with President Obama asking for an increase in minimum wage, but then targeting the new federal contracts, and what made the headlines is that a lot of those federal contracts go to sheltered workshops. So now those contracts are going to have to pay a reasonable wage to people. So at least it's getting attention now. And throughout the country, a lot of the states are looking at the issue of sheltered workshops, and a number are making strides to move them into community-based employment. State of New Jersey, Rhode Island, New York State, trying to think, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts. Yes, thanks, Max. Massachusetts has made a commitment to no longer have new admissions into sheltered workshops and to convert them to community-based employment within the next 5 years. So we're making strides, and I encourage people to talk to your legislatures and let them know that work is important. Work's important to all of us. So thank you for inviting me.
So I don't know what time it is. Anybody have a
10 after.
10 after. So we have time for like a couple questions if folks had a question. Sam?
I don't know if you can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
My voice carries. I guess this is for Bryan, anyone, just for anyone. I think Sarah, you probably know what I'm going to ask, but how important is it to eliminate the inherent work disincentives in federal-state partnership and state programs, such as Medicaid for working persons with disabilities, supplemental, SSI less so, SSDI more so, to eliminate the inherent work disincentives so people with disabilities can make work pay.
Yes, no, I agree. That's a huge factor because people count on their benefits, and there's a fear, that they go to work, they're going to lose their benefits. Over the years, the incentives have improved, but there's still a long ways to go. So I think that's a huge part of it, that we want to make it worthwhile for people to go out and work. So I agree with you.
Chester.
Knocked out by these things. I think one of the important things that we have to talk, and on the level of the National Council, we're doing that right now. We're working with Social Security and Medicaid on, changing some of those laws, and we will be talking to the Congress about you have to eliminate the whole idea of people being disabled and unable to work. That's what is keeping people from doing what they need to do and being able to work. Some of the states have, Medicaid, rules and things that'll help people work. In my state of New York, a person can earn, and no one has done it yet, so we are having trouble getting people up to that level. A single person can earn up to $60,000, and I forgot what it is for a couple. But they can work, and they can work around, the incentive of the, benefits and things like that. But you have a lot of service coordinators and people that work with
Vermont? Do
you.
you know, Chester, what the limit is in Vermont? The person in the audience is asking.
I'm not sure, but I will find that information out because I'm not from here. So.
Because I'm just telling you, I'm sorry, but in Vermont, it's not so great. I know you paint a very rosy picture in New York, but a lot more work needs to be done. The system is a mess, to be honest. I really feel like they've forgotten the people with disabilities, they've forgotten the blind people, they've forgotten the deaf community, and it's very frustrating for us. I feel very upset about this.
Well, one of the things, that's why you need a whole coalition of people with disabilities working together. Because if you work on your single issues, some of the things get left out. So you need a whole coalition of people because the president's minimum wage did not get passed just one group of people with disabilities talking about it. It took a whole group across the country along with people without disabilities making it happen. So we can make it happen. We just got to get up out of our seats and do it. We got to turn off that TV and turn off Judge Judy and all those things and start taking action.
We'll take one more question if anybody has a question. Otherwise, no? Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming. This is, if you could see what I could see from this seat of all of you, it is empowering and wonderful. And thank you so much for coming out today. Welcome to those of you who are here for the first time.
I do have a question,
Oh,
Sarah.
sure.
Yes, I'd like to know, for the folks who are here, for folks with disabilities, is it possible for us to take this opportunity to speak? Now that we have an audience, we have legislators, it's our day. I would like, as a deaf person, and I'm sure other people with disabilities would like to have an opportunity to take a few minutes to speak up. I would love to be able to do that now while we have the opportunity. I'm angry and I'd like to be heard. You know, I want to be able to stand up and fight not just for the deaf community, but for all people with disabilities. I've been through a lot of experiences on my own, a lot of frustration, spent many years struggling and fighting with ESD, Economic Services, and their service is worse than poor. I've had terrible, terrible experiences there. There's been a lot of denial there about, you know, you go into the office and they say, oh no, we don't do that anymore, you have to go to such and such. Economic Services, oh no, we don't handle that issue anymore. And I say, I'm not disabled, I'm not only just deaf, I have a disability as well. And they say, oh no, sorry, no, we don't handle that anymore. No, you have to go down the street, you need to go see so-and-so down at another office. And they just give you the runaround. The Economic Services Department in Waterbury, the Waterbury office, has a supposed phone access system with the TTY, TDD system in the Waterbury office, and it's terrible. It's terrible. It's ineffective. The line is busy every single time you call. Nobody responds. You don't get a message. You call and you call. I called my local town in White River and tried to get some support there from Economic Services. And I said, you know, I'm not getting anywhere. Can you bring in an interpreter? Can you please provide services? Oh no, we don't do that anymore, they say. You'll have to go down the street. You'll have to go across town. You'll have to go to this or that office. And they give you these nonsense messages. You know, here I am, a person with a disability, asking for support, and all I get is no's and denials. I've contacted lawyers. I contacted legal aid. They didn't help me either. And I'm angry.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm angry. They are making a mess of our lives.
Thank you so much for sharing. What's your name?